Hiya, I'm Helena and I study Geography and History at the College of St Hilda and St Bede in Durham. I'm in my fourth and final year here now, and honestly I've had the best 4 years at Durham, like better than I can actually explain, but I've managed to somehow narrow it down into my top 10 things about being a Durham student. Number 10 for me is the sport. For me to be saying that sport is one of my favourite things is really genuinely surprising, as I'm not a sporty person at all. But I think the great thing about Durham is that you can either do sport at a college level, where it's a lot more chill, relaxed, and just like a fun thing to get involved in, or if you're more serious about sport and really want to do it seriously and more intensely, then you can do it at a uni-wide level. I know for me, I've played badminton in my college most weekends for the past 4 years, and although I'm still not not at all good with it, honestly, but I've had a good time and that's what matters. Number 9 is my degree. I mean, I had to fit my degree in here somewhere. I know for me, before I came to Durham, no one in my school had ever been particularly passionate and interested in any of the subjects we were studying, and so I was kind of worried about how I'd fit in at a university, hoping that I'd kind of find other people who cared about the subject as much as I do. And honestly, I found that so many times over. People really love what they're studying and they're so interested in it. And I think that's such a nice environment to be in, that you can talk to other people who are really interested in what they're studying, have so many cool ideas. And yeah, it's just a lovely place to learn. I also think it's really cool that a lot of the lecturers you'll have are people who are at the real forefront of their research in their field. So I know for me, we've had lecturers talking about their own research that hasn't been published yet. They've only just finished, but they're telling us about it because they think it's important and it's like the newest research in the field that they specialise in. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Number 8 for me is volunteering. I think it's so great at Durham that so many people want to get involved in volunteering and give back to kind of the local community. I know for me, I've helped students, mainly primary school and some kind of early secondary school students, to teach them English and like help them with their homework and stuff once a week. And I also volunteer with a local charity outside of the university, and I think it's great to be a part of an institution that cares so much about the local community and wants to help where it can. Number 7 for me is formal dinners. Honestly, before I came to Durham, I had absolutely no clue what formal dinner was. I'd heard about it, done a bit of Googling, but didn't really know what to expect. And honestly, they're genuinely so much fun. You get to get dressed up. Some colleges do fancy dress formals, some you wear a gown or whatever. You get to do that, sit down with your friends for a nice 3-course meal, and then there's usually some kind of entertainment afterwards, maybe an open mic night or something like that. So yeah, it's genuinely just a really fun evening, a cool thing to be involved with, and I really enjoy telling my friends from home about it because it's so different to what a lot of universities have to offer. Number 6 for me personally is the theatre. I'd never done theatre till I came to Durham and never really would have expected that this is something I'd get involved in, but honestly, I accidentally got involved in my first year and it's been great. Same as every society at Durham, it's so accessible, everyone's so welcoming, and I've found so many of my closest friends through the society. It's also really cool that we're the largest student theatre society in the UK, so it's really nice to be a part of something that's that big and that widespread. Number 5 for me is the cafes. I'm an absolute sucker for some coffee and cake, and I love being able to meet up with my friends, have a chat, and like have lunch or brunch or eat some cake with them at the same time. And there's so many lovely little cute cafes in Durham that you can do that with. I also really like the fact that there are a lot of cafes where you can also sit and do work. So I know for me, there might be times where I don't want to study in my room or in the library, and so I might kind of take my reading or my essay and go and work in a cafe instead. And I just love having that flexibility and having so many cafes right on my doorstep. Number 4 for me is the support. For me personally, I'm from Bristol, so almost 6 hours away from Durham, and the idea of moving up here for uni was terrifying. I had no idea how I'd fit in, how I'd get the support I'd need, and just how I'd find my time here. And honestly, I think the college system's made that so much easier for me. In colleges, you have support at kind of an informal and then a more formal level, which is great. So at the informal level, you've kind of got college welfare teams which are run by students. They run drop-ins a couple of times a week, and you can kind of just go, have a chat, have some tea and biscuits, and just kind of talk about anything that's bothering you to a fellow student who'll it's kind of that nice level of like, they have been in your position, they'll know how to help, and it's just a friendly face as well. There's also kind of the more official level of support, because every college has some staff members who are employed full-time to help you and support you as much as possible. I know for me in college, they've been so good over the past 4 years, and I think having this level of support within your college and that you can get to so easily is something I'm so grateful for and is one of my top things about Durham. Following on from that, number 3 for me is the college system. I didn't really know much about the college system before I came to Durham, and I was kind of like, oh, is it just kind of like accommodation at other unis? But honestly, it's so much more than that. It's this whole community you're a part of. You get to know them in Freshers Week, because a lot of your Freshers events are run within your college. So by the end of your first week at Durham, you'll have a lot of friendly faces, and I think that's great. I also love how you stay part of your college even beyond the end of your first year when you're no longer living in. So I'm in my 4th year now. I still go back for things like quizzes, bops, formals, and just all the other events that they put on. So yeah, I love being part of a college. Number 2 is the fact that when you're a Durham student, you get to live in, honestly, one of the most beautiful cities I can think of. You've got the castle and cathedral, you can go for walks along the river, and it's just such a lovely place to have right on your doorstep. You can take all the Instagram photos, show your friends when they come visit, and yeah, it's something that as a Durham student you're just really lucky to have. Finally, my top thing about being a Durham student is just the overall sense of community. I know I've mentioned this before, like within colleges and everything, but honestly, any Durham student you talk to, everyone's so proud and happy to be a part of Durham, and I think that's great. You feel like you belong, both within your college, within your societies, and within the uni as a whole. And yeah, I think it's such a lovely thing to be a part of and have this sense of belonging throughout the whole university. So yeah, those are my top 10 things about being a Durham student. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.